Hi, Empress Justice here, and welcome to the second part of the Aquarius Rahu and Leo Ketu reading. This is for the nodal axis that will take place on the 29th of May 2025 to the 26th of November 2026. Now, before I get into the reading, just want to let you guys know I am not doing any private readings at the moment, but if you appreciate my online readings, you can donate at paypal.me/Empress Justice. I will leave the details in the description of my YouTube videos and my Instagram lives. Okay, well, I'll edit them in later. But yes, that's about it for the time being. It's going to be like this for a few months. So for a few months, I'm just focusing on online readings and I'm going to get myself together that way. But yeah, there are some changes happening and, in the next few months, there's going to be new stuff coming. So yeah, stay tuned for that. All right. Now let's get into the reading. So what I have actually done is I've actually split the nodal axis reading into two parts. Part one, where I discuss the astrological forecast, is on Empress Justice Astrology. It's on my Empress Justice Astrology right now. It's on the live. Everything's been timestamped. So you can jump to the parts that you feel will be the most interesting to you. It's actually a collective reading. It's for all signs because I'm about to do the zodiac signs after I do this. But if you want to check out what it means for you, what everything means for you, again, you can go ahead and check out Empress Justice Astrology. That's a nearly 2-hour reading for the collective. So yeah, you can go ahead and check that out. But for this particular part on Empress Justice Tarot, the clue's in the name. Part two is about the tarot cards that I have associated with each period of the nodal axis that I'm going to cover today. So first off, I'm going to cover, actually, what I would like to do, hang on, let me see something a minute. What I would like to do is first of all, do a reading overall for the Aquarius Rahu and Leo Ketu nodal axis. I know it's not actually necessary that I do this because I've got so much to go into today. But I just wanted to actually do this for you guys because something is compelling me to do it. So I've got two Rider-Waite's here. And each of them are going to represent, each card that I draw from each deck is going to represent Rahu and Ketu respectively. So when it comes to a card for Aquarius Rahu, I have this, which is interesting. That's for the collective. And when it comes to Leo Ketu, got this card. Okay. Okay. Now, I did say during part one that the nodal axis was crucially about power, love, and choice. When it comes to the Aquarius Rahu, again, it's about embracing counterculture while still being likable enough to get away with disrupting the status quo. I feel like many of you will be behaving in inverse ways to how you normally do, but instead of hurting your relationships or hurting your existing relationships, it might actually heal your existing relationships. There are some people who usually are the ones to show up that are not showing up this time. There are the ones who don't usually show up who are showing up this time. And I feel like it's because of this inversion of roles here that is actually going to be healing and beneficial for many relationships out there. That's for the Aquarius Rahu, though. The illusion of contrarianism, though, don't let it get you messed up. Again, don't let it get you messed up. Because even though it won't ruin your existing relationships, it might get in the way of your ability to make new friendships. So there are a reversal of roles. Like I've actually talked about this before, there being a reversal of roles. I've talked about this many times in my readings. But when it comes to this nodal axis in particular, remember it's about the reversal of power and the inverse of power and what we think it is. So the people who are not normally that powerful, not normally that, not normally having a lot offered to them, they might find that it's kind of the opposite situation now, and they're the ones who are kind of front and center. I've had readings like this before, but again, because of the inversion of roles, it actually heals relationships. It doesn't actually detract from them, right? So, yeah, that's what I see for Aquarius Rahu. When it comes to Leo Ketu now, I've got the Ace of Wands, right? I really feel like just because people reject celebrity and reject, elitism, it doesn't actually going to mean that we're going to reject creativity. I think creativity is going to come front and center here. And I feel like our collective and individual happiness are going to take center stage with regards to the nodal axis, because we understand that the reason why we like the pageantry and we like the glamour, darling, the reason why we like these things is because they're reminiscent of joy. But now, what we are likely to do at this point is we're likely to kind of rethink what that joy means and what that joy represents. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, like definitely, like Leo Ketu, we may come back to our roots, which is a good idea because that's what we're supposed to do anyway. But we may come back to our roots when it comes to what Leo truly represents. Okay. So that's for the nodal axis. I don't know what to tell you, babes. I thought it was going to be like, I don't know. I thought it was going to be have a bit more gravitas than that. I know it sounds cynical to say, but let me just get another oracle card. I've had these oracle cards for decades, man. Decades. I mean, they came free with a magazine. Came free with a magazine. But let's see what oracle cards I can get for Aquarius Rahu. Oh, hold on. Aquarius Rahu. Rhythms. Tune into your natural cycles. Yeah. There's a time for everything. And the reversal of roles in our social world, it's a long time coming. A long time coming. All right, so I want Leo K2. Oh my goodness, Leo K2 now. Okay, honest revelations. You know the way. So there's a sense of being in tune with the universe, especially with the inversion of romantic roles or the inversion of community roles or friendship roles or even familial roles. There's a timing attached to that. It feels like there's something that's about to change hands. Again, the hands of power are changing hands again. We're in Rahu Aquarius again. So it's like power is exchanging hands here, right? With honest revelations, with regards to Leo Ketu, it feels like we're dropping all pretense here about like what we find joyful. We're dropping all pretense. Like it's not about like appearances anymore. Because the thing about Leo is the reason why like a lot of them are so glamorous and everything is because they want to give off the appearance that they're having fun, They want to give off the appearance that they're enjoying life when really like they're very sensitive people. But now it's like, now we're kind of uncovering that in ourselves and in other people. And for those who don't honor their own vulnerability, it's just, they might be treated a bit ruthlessly. I'm not going to lie. Because, that's how human beings are. Like, I'm sorry, but we treat each other horribly when we're annoyed by each other. So I feel like anybody who isn't really vulnerable and like who really lays himself out on the table, they might be met with disdain, unfortunately. So yeah, that's yeah, that was the Rahu Ketu nodal axis in generalities. You know, no notes, no nothing, just going in raw. You know what I mean? But now I have to get into the pre-pulled cards for each part of the nodal axis. So first of all, we've got the Purva Bhadrapada and Uttara Palguni axis. And it talks about wealth versus freedom. So this axis is going to take place on the 29th of the 5th, 2025. I'm just going to break down the commonalities between the two signs. We've got love and dedication to our spouses, prosperity through marriage. It doesn't have to be romantic marriage or anything like that. It can be common law marriage. It could be business partnership. Seeing the future beyond the mundane, testing periods, and sacrifice. So yes, it's wealth via freedom. In order for us to actually maximize our wealth and potential, or to maximize the fullness of who we are as people, we have to engage our own freedom. And we also have to be open towards, you know, unifying with others. Actually, Uttara Palguni is mastered Kama, whereas Purva Bhadrapada is mastered Dharma. So in order to actually navigate this particular nodal axis, you have to learn how to work with people in order to truly find where your morals are and where your ethics are. And once you do that, you can gain freedom from your connections and then use that to gain wealth through your morality. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but if it makes sense, let me know in the comments after this video is uploaded. But for now, I'm going to actually read the tarot cards that I've got for you guys and the oracle cards that I've got. So I'm going to start with the tarot cards first. So for the tarot cards, I have Knight of Cups, Knight of Swords, the Chariot, and the Sun. Now, I already know that this is talking about, oh, hang on. You see, I thought this was talking about Uttara Palguni, but it's actually talking about Purva Bhadrapada. Because Purva Bhadrapada brings the passion when it comes to, you know, relationships, but it's usually one-sided passion. Whereas Uttara Palguni, it starts off one-sided, but it isn't towards the end, if that makes sense. And this, I was going to associate this with Purva Bhadrapada, but no, I think they're both Purva Bhadrapada, these two right here. And I think these two are representative of Uttara Palguni, because Uttara Palguni has a very healthy understanding of relationships. Like, they're open to relationships and they will allow relationships to help them evolve, but they won't be beholden to those relationships, if that makes sense, right? With this right here, it represents Purva Bhadrapada, that feeling of passion, but also because that passion, like, we feel so out of control when experiencing it, it may lead us to mistakenly think that that cruelty is kindness and kindness is cruelty. But it's like, it's kind of an excuse that Purva Bhadrapada makes in order to excuse being cruel to people when they want to be. So it's like, we may be, like, some of us, like, from a tarot perspective, because the astrological forecast is different. From a tarot perspective, we may feel so passionate that it kind of feels out of our control and our mind kind of gets defensive. At the same time, our Ketu offers a way out. Our Ketu offers us the chance to actually focus on, you know, not only to be focused on our own goals and our own dreams, but also to be focused on what we love. So Uttara Palguni Ketu is giving us an out here. As long as we are focused on what we love and focused on ourselves, then it actually tempers this. It tempers our ability to get carried away with our emotions and our thoughts. Okay, so if we really want to get technical about it, this represents pouring yourself into something external. This represents putting the external into you and you getting what you want out of it. So this is the energy that we want to be on, not this. Okay. Now, let's see from the oracle cards what we can get for you guys. So we have the cat. This is from Between the Worlds, yeah, this is from the Between the Worlds oracle deck. And we've got Iset, Surrender. That's from the African Goddess oracle deck. And we got Ichel, Medicine Woman, from the Goddess oracle deck from Doreen Virtue. And it says here, you are a channel for divine healing power. I've said this so many times during part 1, and it's kind of reiterated here. Surrender to your joy. Surrender to what makes you happy. Surrender to what heals you. Do not allow yourself to be caught up in how external circumstances make you feel during this time. Okay? And that's for everybody. But let's see what we've got from the notes here, all right? So we've got strong performer, great performance, winning people over, CEO, general, top of an organization. Winning people over is important because that goes into Uttara Palguni. Getting to the core of an issue and relinquishing people pleasing. To do the above, to get to the core of an issue, you still have to be somewhat sociable and kind, right? And you also have to release the need for control and to trust divine timing. Uttara Palguni is really good at seeing beneath the mundane, right? Your situation or the situation you're in are being healed. You see, this is the thing, right? This does not trust that. This does not trust, like your mind and your spirit don't trust that things are being healed. And this is the part about your spirit. I'm not talking about spirit in general. I'm talking about your spirit. This is the thing about your spirit that people don't often realize, right? Our spirit is our emotions and our mind is our mind, right? And both of these things are very heavily influenced by external circumstances, by external stimuli. They're way more sensitive to external stimuli than our bodies and our souls are. That's the truth, right? And there is a situation right now that our minds and our spirits are preoccupied with that we think are not being sorted out, and they are being sorted out. They are being taken care of, and we have to trust that, right? And also we've got getting what you want in a career and dangerous state. Okay. Let me get some drink because I've got a drink here. I've got a drink to... Oh, it's down here. So yeah. Yeah. Also, the fact that these are heightened is not necessarily entirely natural. And I've touched on this before. But yeah, getting what you want in a career and dangerous state. So all of those are normal notes. For important notes, we've got getting your way, being accepted, child with special gifts, changing residence, going overseas, moving out of darkness, and a new start. And then for hold up. Then for really important notes, we've got successful holiday, fun job, self-realization. Oh yeah, I forgot an important note, making an inspired move. So we've got successful holiday, fun job, and self-realization for really important notes. And for the most important, we've got destined to travel, child, fortune found in a sunny location. Oh boy, I feel like many of us feel like we're stagnant because we're not looking further afield. We're not looking further afield when it comes to doing whatever it is that we want to do. Although it says from the notes here that some of us are going to have some career success. Some of us are going to have some success before we even do anything, before we even venture out. Apparently, we're going to have success because the life path number for this nodal axis for Purva Bhadrapada and Uttara Palguni is actually 44-8. So it seems like there will be some success and accomplishment when it comes to our career goals, when it comes to our business goals, when it comes to work, things like that, right? There will be some success, but the success drops before we've even ventured out. And yet, it is when we venture outside our comfort zone, that's when we're really going to see some successful results. Yeah? So before we've even done anything, before we've even gone outside our comfort zones, we are likely to have some immense success here. Immense, right? But that, again, that's before we go outside our comfort zones. And we're supposed to go outside our comfort zones. And it's not that we won't want to. That's not what this is. It's because we're so sensitive that we're wondering, can we really take it? Can we really take any more stress to our mind and spirit? What if you're about to walk into a situation that you've already been through 1,000 times? What if you're about to walk into a situation that you already well know how to handle and you're not giving yourself credit? What then? You know what I mean? You have to consider that. Okay? So yeah, it looks like the Purva Bhadrapada and Uttara Palguni axis starting on the 29th of May looks like there's some success coming. But we have to surrender to what's happening around us and not try to gain control all the time. Because our minds and our spirits are feeling heightened. And, we need to learn to temper all that. Okay? Now, we've got to get to the Purva nodal axis. That's Purva Palguni and Purva Palguni Ketu and Purva Bhadrapada Rahu, right? And that takes place on the 6th of July, 2025. Okay, once again, we've got Purva Bhadrapada, who is really mastered in Dharma and has to master Artha, their wealth, right? And then you have Purva Palguni, which is already mastered in Artha, and they have to master union with another person, right? So in order for us to make the most of this nodal axis, we have to use a mastered understanding of wealth, because Purva Palguni knows how to go for the best. And we also have to use a mastered understanding of our own morals at this point in order to reinforce wealth and attract love in our lives. So we're going from I am the money to the money is in what I love. That's the direction that we're taking from Purva Palguni Ketu to Purva Bhadrapada Rahu. That's the direction that we need to take. Okay? So, I'm going to talk about the themes that unite both Purva Bhadrapada and Purva Palguni, right? It's attraction to magic and manifestation and deep occult knowledge. And it's union, sexual passion, and spousal dedication, procreation. So it's bare dopamine. Bare, okay? So those are the themes that you are uniting the Purva nodal axis, which is dropping on the 6th of July, okay? Now, let's get to the tarot cards, and then we're going to get to the oracle cards, okay? So, the tarot cards for this particular period of time is the art card, which is temperance, the 10 of cups, the 3 of pentacles, and the 7 of pentacles. Okay, let's see. I feel like there's a sense of really leveling up here. Whilst materially, it feels like a lot of us are starting from ground zero, like materially. I have to say, emotionally, there's no ground zero going on at all. You remember when I said that during the Purva Bhadrapada and Uttara Palguni axis, that, what did I say actually? You remember when I said that you're afraid you're going to walk into a situation that you can't handle, when really you may end up walking into a situation that you've handled 1,000 times. This is it. The new start is not really a new start. You've been here before, but you're so mastered at this situation that you end up breezing through it, and you end up laying down a really strong foundation. Once again, this is for those who resonate with this. Materially, you're starting from ground zero. When it comes to work, when it comes to business and side hustles I'm looking at here, you're starting from ground zero. But you're so experienced and so knowledgeable at this point that it feels like nothing to progress through this stage. And emotionally, some of you have done so much work that it literally feels like nothing to, in fact, you end up enjoying what's happening. Because there are some of you who have been through so much already. You're like, okay, I know this story. I know how to navigate it. Doesn't bother you. Doesn't bother you. I can't hold you guys. From a tarot perspective, you're about to enter into situations that feel like you're starting all over again, but you don't mind starting all over again because you know that's not what's happening. The only thing that's happened is that there's an end of a cycle and it's being replaced with a new cycle. That, you know, that's what's going on. So you're not taking any of this personally, and instead you're riding the wave with confidence and with self-assurance. It will resonate with some of you. It won't resonate with some of you. That's cool. But that's what I see. Okay. Now, when it comes to, oh yeah, you see, Ericura, listen, man. It says you are just getting started, to have patience with yourself and the process and do not give up. Blossoming. Like I've been saying, Jumbi is masks, which hints at a facade, but it's not a facade that you're putting on. It's like, there are some of you who are not putting on a facade at all, but other people are. Be very careful. Be very, very careful. The Raven, I feel like some of you have spirit guides, very powerful ones that know immediately what you're supposed to be doing, and they're helping you do it. Right? And some of you need to listen to your spirit guides. Some of you are not listening. Some of you are not listening, and you need to change that. But other than that, confidence. And it's not confidence on a big bombastic level. It's confidence on, like, hold on, let me see the spec girl still on. Yeah. There's confidence on a very, very deep level. It's a healthy sort of humble confidence. It's not like over the top. And you are blossoming, but there are some dishonest people around and spirit guides that you're not listening to. Listen to your spirit guides. They know what they're talking about. Now, some of these spirit guides that you have, they've been around a lot longer than you think. And they know how some of these human beings are. Okay? But let's look at the notes here. Now, this is interesting. So, we've got logic and facts combined with intuition. I saw that with the Raven. Creative happiness, familial happiness. So, yeah, happiness on a deep emotional level here, which is really good. Spiritual signs within one's environment holding deep meaning. So pay attention to everything that's around you. We've got connecting with inner strength and hold on. Connecting with inner truth and listening closely to spirit's response. I think I was writing this. I made a mistake in there when I wrote this because I was tired. So removing pretense and showing one's true face to get answers. It's not actually you that's not showing your true face. It's not you that's pretending. Something like, for those of you who resonate with this, it's not you that's pretending. Okay, there are some people who are pretending to be something they're not, but there are people who resonate with my reading. Some of you, you're not pretending to be something you're not. So yeah. Slow down, patience, gardening, aromatherapy, and faith. You don't need to be told to slow down. You're already doing that. A lot of you who resonate with this reading here, you don't need to be told to slow down. You're already slowing down. You're already like bringing yourself back to ground zero and, and allowing things to take their course. And in the meantime, you're riding the wave emotionally and you're riding it beautifully. All right. Now let's see. Okay. So four important notes, we've got being the heart of a team, earning a wage, outdoor teamwork, long-standing team, expert team, long-term vision, aligning with true self. This is so good. This is so good. So good. Oh, it really resonates with me on a deep soul level. This is crazy. I want to keep going. Okay, so we're going to skip the very important notes and then we're going to go on to tier 3, which is like really, really important notes, right? So we've got good health, recovering, being your own boss, beautiful home, patient leader, prosperous future, wishes coming true, positive and eccentric leaders, tech leaders. I did say with Aquarius Rahu, be careful of any leaders who seem too good to be true, especially in the tech world. I did say that, but when it comes to ourselves individually, in our individual lives, like it's looking very positive for some of us. And then for tier 4, really, 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 really important notes. We've got Earth Angel, beauty industry, and humble leader. Okay. So first of all, the fact that there's an overriding presence of pentacles here, it means that your practical life is under the microscope here. Your practical life is being watched. Your home life, your domestic life, your work, your career, your finances. So these are the things taking center stage during this time in July until the next period. So these are the things that are happening for you right now in a positive way. Emotionally is where you'll feel the most fulfillment though. A lot of people, like, the ideal is to have a lot of money and a lot of emotional satisfaction. But I won't lie to many of you guys. Well, I won't lie at all. You're going to feel more emotional satisfaction than material abundance. But it's not going to matter. That's why I can tell you guys. It's not going to matter, And then when it comes to this now, when it comes to all of this, okay, Earth Angel, beauty industry, humble leader. Maybe that some of you level up in your aesthetics too. It might be some of you leveling up in your aesthetic, leveling up in the way that you look, in the way you present yourselves. So this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say you're not starting over again you're starting over again, but it's not going to be from scratch like you're starting the same cycle. It's not the same cycle. It's a different cycle, and in the sense that you find yourself in the same situations and you thrive where you used to fail. So, yeah. And the life path number for this, I believe, is number 7. According to my notes, it's number 7. Yeah. So, or it could be number 5. No, it's number 5 for this one. It's number 5 for this one. But let me get the notes up. I'm sure it's... Yeah. Life path number is number 5, I'm sure. Oh no, it's number 1. My bad. You see? Written them down here. I write down all my shit. So it's number 1. Life path number is number 1 for all this. So you have the perfect foundation to be able to kickstart your lives in your terms and in your ways. And the best way to do that is, yes, to be sociable, to be lighthearted, to be positive. That's the best way to move forward. But don't let that positivity and don't let that warmth and that grace that you show get you caught up in thinking that you need other people to do what you do. No, you don't. You can do this. You can do this. You got this. Okay. So yeah, number 1. My apologies. It's life path number 1. Oh Lord. I didn't have my green tea this morning, so I'm all over the place. But yeah, let's get to the next nodal axis period, which is, hold on. It is Purva Bhadrapada Ketu. No, it's Purva Palguni Ketu. And it is Shatabisha Rahu. So we're going to get into this in a little bit. Hang on. And that's taking place on the 1st of December 2025. Now that I did remember. So let's have a look. See, so I got Purva Palguni, again, mastered in Artha, looking for Kama. And then you've got Shatabisha, which is all about Dharma. It's all about morality. It's all about ethical code. So the way in which we connect with our morality, and, you know, as Aquarius Rahu demands, we connect with that through utilizing mastered wealth to actually find love. Right? Now, let's see. I'm going to, once again, talk about the commonalities between Shatabisha and Purva Palguni. Okay? So we've got creating and piercing a veil, deep occult knowledge, ambition, achievement, talent, and gifts, luxury, comfort, relaxation, and healing. So we've gone from like the more hardcore manifestation angle, because again, it was a life path 1. So we've gone from the hardcore manifestation period of the 6th of July, and now at the 1st of December, after like almost 3 months of really hardcore manifestation and hardcore going after what we want, now we're in the stage of doing more mundane work, meaning doing more physical work and enjoying more physical rewards, and actually taking more of a backseat when it comes to the manifestation stuff. We're actually more likely to do work at this time. Okay. The occult knowledge is still there, but it's like we're passively receiving it rather than acting on it too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I normally do, read the tarot cards and the oracle cards. And then we're going to go from there, okay? Let's see. Right. Let's see. All right. So for the tarot cards, we have the 9 of Pentacles. We've got the 3 of Swords, and we have the Temperance card, and we have the Queen of Wands. Now, when I talked about the astrological forecast of this particular time period, it was a little bit tricky because there was some emotional wrangling there, you know. You know what? I get very much go hard or go home energy for this. It's not just relationships and romance that we're really intense about. It's also about what we're doing. So it's like we've carried that number 1 energy all the way over here, right? I feel like, you know, when it comes to who we love and what we do, I feel like they're being met with the same intensity and the same passion. That's what I feel like is going on here. So let me have a look at this more closely. First of all, these are the results of the Purva nodal axis that started back in July. This is the result of that. Some of you are going to be comfortably riding your own wave materially. Things are looking very good. You've accomplished a lot. This comes back from the 29th of May, the cycle that started on the 29th of May, the time period during the nodal axis. Comes back from that. I don't feel like it's heartbreak. I don't feel like there's, it says breakup, breakdowns, and separations here, but I really don't think it's that. I think it's like the intensity of love and the intensity of what we want is so strong that, it might feel overwhelming for a lot of people. It's the weight of ambition and the weight of passion and the weight of desire that's weighing down on some people. And then there are other people who are dealing with this quite well. There are other people who are kind of to themselves. They're not really in any relationships. They're just like doing their own thing. And these are the people who are really finding it like a lot easier. And they might be the ones who end up mediating between people. But it feels like it's very intense. Like that, there's immense enjoyment to be had. Don't get me wrong, but it's one of those things where winter's always tricky anyway. Okay. Cause there's a lot of celebration, but there's also a lot of death during winter. So that could be among the reasons why it can be so problematic during this time. So, yeah, when it comes to the oracle cards, we've got the Doll's Arm. We have got Sekhmet, Wounded Healer. Yeah, that goes back to the Three of Swords, wounds. And then we've got Aphrodite. Awaken the goddess within you through dance, self-care, and appreciating your divinity. So joy is more important than ever. Serious business, okay? Now let's get to the notes on these particular cards. So we've got confidence in your team, master's PhD, successful team, being different, singer, speaker, entrepreneur, playing with money, testing the waters, successful entrepreneur, offering and receiving assistance. Now is the time to swallow our pride. Okay. We've got feminine energy, healing sexuality, allowing softness and receptivity. Humanitarianism. Putting yourself first is a must, especially for receptive and fan people. Well, I wasn't playing around, was I? Okay, so manipulating facts is the most important, like the really important notes, or the important note. Got manipulating facts, cruel love, separation, breakups, and breakdowns. Again, there was so much intensity behind all that. There was so much going on. It's like, yeah, like, during this time, the life path number was 3. So during this time, it was important for us to be positive and to be sociable. But it's one of those things where, you go out and you socialize and you have all this fun. But then when you come back, you just want quiet and you just want peace and you just want the chance to be able to think. And I feel like many of us need to remember to do that during winter, because there are going to be a lot of demands put on us. Again, people drop like flies during winter. I'm sorry to say that, but people drop like flies during winter. And then on top of that, during winter, that's when the festivities are. That's when you have Christmas. That's when you have Hanukkah. That's when you have Kwanzaa. That's when you have, I don't know if there's an Islam celebration around this time. I know there's Diwali though, but you have all these festivals during winter and autumn, and and people are not doing well health wise. So it's a very difficult time, but it's one of those things where if you don't take care of yourself and you don't take care of what you got going on, then it's gonna exhaust you. Yeah. Materially, There are some of us who are doing well. Those of us who don't really have a lot of people to care about, we might find that we're doing a little bit better than those who are more integrated into the world. Those who are more integrated may find the burdens of being integrated quite heavy. And for those people, I say you need to take time to yourself. Like, I know it's difficult, but try to find a way. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, so that you can continue to be there for people in a way that they really and truly appreciate. Okay. Now, let me get to the Magha axis. All right. Magha axis. So that is Magha Ketu, which is great for Magha. Magha Ketu and Shatabisha Rahu, which is great for Shatabisha, obviously. So like, this is quite a positive axis. I'm not going to hold you. This is quite a positive axis in which both Rahu and Ketu are, you know, are at full power. Well, maybe not Ketu, because that's still in Leo, but Shatabisha Rahu, yeah, that's Rahu at their fullest power. So the power of illusion may still be strong with Shatabisha, but Magha kind of brings up the rear and brings balance to this equation, brings more balance than the other nakshatras that were connected to Shatabisha. So there's balance here already, right? At the same time, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to be an intense time period, because from a tarot perspective, we've got bare major arcana here, which means this is probably one of the most intense periods during the nodal axis from a tarot perspective, right? So with Magha, they're mastered in Dharma, have to learn how to be wealthy. And with Shatabisha, it's pure Dharma. So it's all about us learning how to incorporate our ethics in order to gain wealth. So it's, you know, we're incorporating our morals to gain wealth. And then what we're doing with that wealth is that we're pouring it into things that actually mean something to us. That's the way in order to heal this nodal axis during this time. Okay, so now I'm going to read some commonalities between the two nakshatras that are inherent between Magha and Shatabisha. Okay, so I've got duty, honor, and courage, veil and reservedness, steadfastness. We've got magnificence, achievement, authority, and ambition, traditional and ancestral knowledge, futurism, and left-hand tantra. So yeah, it's about the underworld, essentially. It's about being between worlds. Only where Shatabisha goes into the underworld or goes into the other world and often doesn't come out, Magha goes through the underworld to come out the other side. So this is where Magha and Shatabisha, in spite of them being sister nakshatras, are aligned. It's because they're both going to the same place. It's just that they're not getting the same things out of it. Right? So we may find that being aligned with our ethics and our morality, it may not feel so difficult for us during this time. And being in line with our purpose won't feel so difficult either. All right? But there are intense factors here, because I've got to read the tarot cards and then I've got to get back to you with, oh shit, I forgot about this card. This card with it. You know what I mean? So I've got to read the tarot cards and then I got to get to the oracle cards after that, okay? So what we've got is the Hanged Man, the Devil, the Moon, and the Star. Our egos are being challenged big time. And this is not a split between the nodes either. Our egos are being challenged in major ways, right? Now, we're being forced to look at things we don't want to look at. And we're being forced to do so from a perspective that makes us feel kind of powerless, which is fun. Yeah, the underworld, man. Now, the underworld is usually to do with sensual pleasures, but it can also be allegory for all the things, all the truths that we don't want to see about ourselves. We're going to be forced to look at that. With this, there is fear, but there's also hope. Yeah. And truth be told, everything that I'm reading for you right now is not just internal. It's going to have a big effect on our world as well, from a tarot perspective. We're going to be forced to look at things we did not want to look at. And once we look at them, we have to hold ourselves gently, because we're going to find out a lot of things about ourselves that we don't like from the period of the 20th of April. 20th of April 2026, we're going to find out some things about ourselves that we really don't like, and we're going to have to go through months of finding some way to atone for our flaws. And it's not an easy thing to deal with. It's not an easy thing to go through. It can be very traumatic to think about the mistakes you've made to other people. Like, shame can induce such trauma sometimes that sometimes you don't even want to admit what you did. But it's like you have to find ways to be accountable for the point of views that you hold and for the things that you do. You have to be accountable. And it's not easy for anybody to do. That's our underworld. Our underworld is having to really face ourselves without having to, without looking at what everybody else is doing, without groupthink. We have to really look at ourselves. Okay? It's not an easy thing to do, but it's got to be done. And then on top of that, again, all of this is major arcana. So this is possibly the most intense period. Actually, not even possibly. This is the most intense period, the most meaningful period during the Magha and Shatabisha nodal, during the Leo, Ketu and Aquarius Rahu nodal axis. This is going to be the most important period from the 20th of April to the 3rd of June 2025. It's going to be the most important period out of all of them. Now I've got to get to the oracle cards. Let's see what time I'm on. Oh, 15 minutes. I might be longer than 15 minutes. So we've got Short Bone for the oracle cards, and we've got Sara Lakali, Divine Lineage. Here we go, Magha. Here we go. And then we've got Mary Magdalene, Unconditional Love. Love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. Yeah, you've got to hold yourself gently. We've got to hold ourselves gently. Because Magha will bring us face to face with, Magha Ketu will bring us face to face with our lineage. And the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to walk away from it. Either because we feel like we're too good for our lineage, or conversely, we feel like we're not deserving of our lineage. But regardless of how we feel, we're a part of it. We can't walk away from that. So it's important for us to look at ourselves clearly, but to hold ourselves gently, because we don't know. We just don't know. We don't know until we're confronted with the truth. And sometimes the truth can be so brutal that the sheer weight of the shame, it can lead us straight into delusion, into denial. I've noticed it in my own life. I'm the kind of person where if I've done something wrong, I remember, even if I don't say anything, I remember. And I carry not just the trauma of what's been done to me, but I carry the trauma of what I've done to other people that I want to make right, but that honestly, I'm too much of a coward to make it right. And then I've noticed with other people who have hurt me in my life, they're so traumatized by what they did to me and not the pain that they inflicted on me. They're not traumatized by that, but they're so traumatized by the shame and by what it says about them, that they won't even acknowledge it. Like their brain will conveniently leave it out, because if they were to remember, it would split their mind in two. If they were to admit it and own it. Do you know what I mean? It would split their mind into that, like they would not be able to psychologically cope with looking at their mistakes. So I know firsthand about the trauma of wrongdoing, about the trauma of allowing like a shameful moment to overtake you, a shameful moment of hatred, a shameful moment of malice to overtake you. And I also know what it's like to not really want to admit it because of how traumatic the shame is. And again, for some people, the shame of wrongdoing is so traumatic, they straight up just won't admit it. They won't admit anything. Or if they do admit something, they'll try to excuse it. You know, and I'm talking about wrongdoing, but the truth of the matter is, the truth that we don't really want to know about ourselves is not just about wrongdoing. It's not just about that. It can be about anything. We hide more than our sins in the darkness. We also hide our vulnerabilities. And it's our sins and our vulnerabilities that are likely to come out during the 20th of April, 2026. It's likely to be both of those things, which is shame upon shame upon shame. And that's just those who feel ashamed. Like, I'm not even going to get into the people who feel guilty. That's a whole other thing on top of the shame. But we have to look at it. We have no choice. We have to look at it. We have to face it, and we have to clean it up. You know what I mean? Sorry, I gotta wait a second. Those are my perps. They're usually loud when I'm filming, but then they're not that loud this time because of a little tactic of theirs that went wrong. So you know what I mean? So yeah, not as loud as usual, but yeah, let's get on with this. So yeah, the trauma of shame and guilt is a hard one. But again, we have to look at it and we have to deal with it. Because all we're really looking at is the natural conclusion of all the good and bad things that we did. Yeah, sometimes bad things can happen because of good stuff that you did. So it's not, listen, man, it's not just like, you know, shameful joys that we took that come back and bite us in the ass. It's also things that we did with good intentions, or we thought we did with good intentions when really they were selfish intentions. So it's that has to be looked at too. It's not an easy thing to deal with. It's not easy, you know. So, you know, yeah, very intense time. It doesn't have to be negative, does not have to be negative, but it is a very intense time. And because it's a life path 5, it's nothing that some traveling couldn't fix. I'm just saying, okay? Learning things, trying different things, you know, and then supplementing it with studies, research. All of these things are going to put us on the road back to healthiness again. New experiences will remind us that our journey isn't over and that we've actually learned from some of these mistakes. So let's see what we can get from the notes here. I've written them down. There's a lot of notes here. Okay, so for the normal notes, we've got displaying patience with temporary setbacks or routine changes. Ancestors are surrounding us. We're reminded of our lineage. Yeah. Healing situation with love, forgiveness, and disregarding others' opinions. So opinions don't really matter, and opinions are never personal. People are usually performing their opinions. And I know it sounds really harsh to say, but a lot of people perform their opinions. A lot of people perform their sense of self because they don't actually have a sense of self. It's something that most people actually do. And I used to think that I was the only one who did that shit, but yeah, nah. I was just an exaggerated version of the everyday person. People often perform their morality and perform their ethical code. And, going into the underworld, it forces you not to perform your morals and your ethics. So, we have got two sets of notes here. We've got very, very, really important notes and really, really important notes. So we've got tier 2 and tier 3. Okay, because again, it's major arcana. So hang on to your hat, people. Okay, so for your really important notes, we've got inner visions, behaving out of character, survival instincts, survival mode, inner life, and mystery. And then for the really, really important notes, tier 3, hang on to your hat. We've got putting others first, assertiveness, ambition, solving mysteries, living your bliss, genius, melodrama, young artist, theater, being on stage, depression, fears, bad company, escapism, drug problems, being accepted, losing faith, child with special gifts, role play, unknown territory, believing the worst, losing control, aggression, moving out of darkness, new start, addictions, dangerous future, confrontations, stuck in, sorry about that. Sorry. Stuck in fear, delayed success, passive child, genius, compensation, avoiding consequences, and trapped in a bad situation. So clearly, this period is going to affect different people in different ways. For some people, when they are forced to look at themselves in different ways, they may enter a dark night of the soul. For some people. For other people who are forced to look at themselves and look at themselves from unflattering angles, instead of you taking it personally, you're like, okay, these are the choices that I've made, and I have the opportunity to make new choices. So there are two distinct camps. There are always two distinct camps of me. There are two distinct camps that are like, I'm in the underworld and I'm going to stay there. Those are the ones who are caught up in the Aquarius Rahu. I'm a bad person, so I'm going to stay where I am. And then there are those who are kind of channeling the Magha Ketu, channeling the collective daimon, right? There are those of them who are doing that are just like, okay, this was ridiculous. I was ridiculous, but there is a way that I can move through this. I can get through this. It doesn't have to be the end for me. This can be another learning opportunity, like the good things in my life. And those people, what they will find is that not only do they bloom, but they bloom powerfully. And the star card, I feel like, relates to the people the most that are the keenest to learn something. This card right here, it relates to the people who came out the other side and were like, okay, I've learned my lesson. So how am I going to do what I need to do moving forward? So yeah. This is an intense time, but it doesn't have to be an unhappy one. Depends how you deal with the situation. Yeah? Depends how you deal with it. Okay. Alright. Now, got to get to the last period in the Leo Ketu and Aquarius Rahu nodal axis. I've got to get to Magha Ketu and Dhanishta Rahu. So I did say that Magha and Shatabisha were the most aligned. I wouldn't say that they're the most aligned. I only said that because they were my favorite nodal axis. But it's actually Magha and Dhanishta that get together the best because, you know, they both want similar things. And those similarities can be seen thus. You've got wealth, magnificence, authority, and fame, a left hand of magic, an ability to manifest something from nothing, organization, achievement, duty and honor, courage and motivation. So on the 30th of June 2026, this is where we get like an almost 5-month period of, you know, kind of getting to grips with getting more attention from people, how we deal with it and how we handle the extra attention, how we handle, you know, creating something from nothing, maybe creating new ideas, or, you know, how we handle these things are going to be really highlighted during this time. This is a time where after all the work that we've done, this is where the power, this is where we see the collective, this is where collectively we see where our individual power lies. This is where we start to see it. We start to see it finally during the 30th of June 2026 for an almost 5-month period. We finally see the kind of, we finally start to see ourselves a bit more clearly. Okay. Yeah. And we see how the world sees us. And we might actually be surprised at how the world sees us. There are some of us who were waiting for people to believe the worst in us. And some people do, but actually the people who believe the worst in you are usually a minority. And that's something that's really going to shock us during this time. But let's read the cards, yeah? So let's see. So first of all, it's a swords time. There's lots of swords here. So we've got the Princess of Discs, which is the Page of Swords. Then we've got the King of Swords, the Seven of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. Usually, when I look at these tarot cards here, I usually think somebody's trapped or somebody like, no, that's not what this is. What I feel like is that there are some members of the public who are rising up, who are leveling up, but there are powerful people in really important institutions that are trying to supplant some of these individuals here. And they're using oppressive measures against everybody in order to do it. You know, I don't see activists here though. I simply see people who are gathering information and learning and surviving. I don't see like actual activists here. If they were activists, it would be Page of Wands or Page of Swords. This is just somebody who's learning, somebody who's actually gaining information. And so like this represents people whose awareness might be too high. And there are these people here in power or who are favored by power who are trying to shut down the conversation and make sure that nobody can get the truth out. So they distract the public with oppressive means, with oppressive laws. That's what I'm seeing here. Okay? That's what I'm seeing. It's a last gasp at control is what I'm seeing. We need to hang on to our hats because this is nothing to trivialize. All right? Oracle cards, we've got the Pentip. We've got Guinevere, true love. The romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you. Oh, this is crazy. All right. This is crazy. Okay. Maulisa, cosmic power. Oh, shit. Okay. If one power one power, one force gives birth to an opposing force. If we're dealing with people who are trying to control the illuminated ones or the ones gaining knowledge, right? Then we've got people on the other side of the equation building up the love. We may see, I don't know why this is happening, but we might see an explosion, not even just of different cliques, but also love unions. There was an explosion of marriage during the Rahu and Pisces. I think that might happen again. I don't know why it would happen during Magha and Dhanishta nodal axis, but I see an explosion of marriages or an explosion of romantic unions, as well as cliques forming behind the scenes. Do you understand what I mean? I think there are cliques forming, and I think, oh shit. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. You guys will find out. You guys will find out. Sorry to leave you hanging, but I've got to leave you hanging, yeah. You guys will find out exactly what's happening here, right? But let me get to the notes. In fact, let me write something down here so that I don't forget. Knowing me, I'll forget. Oh, right, you write it down here. So, when it comes to the Oracle cards, it's very clear that one force is creating another opposite force. The force of control, the force of power, is reinforcing the forces of love, which is crazy. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just writing this down. Okay. But let me look at the notes though. See what the notes say. So, for normal notes, we've got new generosity, allowing your creative voice to let loose. Yep. Expression and authenticity. There's going to be more of that. Soulmates, twin flames, renewed passion, romance and romantic needs. Trusting that you're in the right place at the right time, inner magic. And then for important notes, we've got much success, working on our own agenda, spying on someone. Yeah, that's these people. These people. I said gang stalking was going to go mainstream. It's been going mainstream for years now. They just called it something else. The powers that be, the elites. Well, we can call them the elites, but let's call them what they are: creative intelligence services and domestic intelligence services and security services within each country, and law enforcement. All of them are hanging on to control. Trying to cling to control. So we've got new generosity, allowing your creative voice to let loose, expression and authenticity, soulmates and twin flames, renewed passion, romance and romantic needs, trusting that you're in the right place at the right time, and inner magic. And then we've got for the, once again, coming back to important notes, we've got caring for others, believing in others, inspiring others, special aid therapy, therapist, long-term goal, protector, guardian angel, much success, working on own agenda, spying on someone. Again, that's these motherfuckers here, intelligence services, both private and civil, and law enforcement, both private and civil. Did you know they got private law enforcement now in the UK? Because I fucking didn't. Let me move on. And then we've got, for the most important notes, really important notes, tier 2, we've got talented surgeon, master detective, autism, hidden genius, mastering self-management, preferring to work alone, marketing genius, professional career, unpredictability, manifestation, spy and vigilante. Oh, Lord have mercy. Spy and vigilante. But there's one more normal note I forgot about. It's part-time student and learning a new skill. Do I really need to say it? Do I really need to say it? It's very, very obvious that when it comes to power, you know, because both Shatabisha and Magha are basically, you know, they're the underworld, whereas Magha is going through the underworld. Shatabisha is one of the nakshatras in charge of it. Shout out to Shravana 666, right? Or Shravana 66, I can't remember the name. Yeah, but they're on Twitter, right? So Shatabisha is one of the rulers of the underworld. And with Magha and Shatabisha there, during the month of April, you're talking about dictatorship. That changes everyone. And now we're at Magha and Dhanishta. Now that we've seen the faces of our dictators, now that we've seen that, now everybody's getting to work. And because everybody's getting to work, now all the intelligence services that have been instrumental in bringing about this change, now they're really going to get to work. They've been working on the masses for a long, long time. Now they're about to show their hand. Now they're about to show their hand at precisely the right time. And ironically, it's because of this, instead of, literally the whole world just tearing each other apart, instead of doing that, we've got one clique of people, one side of people who are embroiled in hatred. And then there are the other side who are embroiled in love. Again, there's going to be an explosion of partnerships, and especially romantic. An explosion. Not a little drip, like an explosion of partnerships. So stand by for that. If you come with hatred, it's not going to be a surprise that love is going to also come into the picture. It's not going to be a shock. So, yeah, that's a very intense time. The life path number for this is number 7. It is the Princess of Discs. It is the knowledge gatherers. It's the people who know more than they say and know more than they're given credit for that are about to lead the way. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find the card. It is these people who are going to be leading the charge. The life path number for this period, beginning the 30th of June and ending in November in 2026, are going to be these people. Not just the academics and the scholars, but the ones who are doing all their little home studies. They are the ones that you're gonna need to listen to, because they're gonna know what's up. Because it's them that our intelligence services and our law enforcement are trying to supplant in order to keep the rest of us controlled. Okay? And I'm sorry, I know that was very heavy, but again, the Aquarius, even though like the nodal shifts happen every 1.5 years, so it's not really that big. It's not like, Saturn changing signs or Neptune changing signs or Uranus changing signs or Pluto changing signs. It's not like any of that. But when a nodal shift happens, it ushers in very important shifts. So it's important to understand that when you're dealing with an Aquarius and Leo nodal shift, you're dealing with themes of power and where that power comes from. Things are going to change big time, and we need to be ready. That's one of the reasons why I do my tarot readings. It's not enough for me just to say, oh, there's going to be romance and there's going to be like, I love that shit. You're talking to somebody who loves that. I love that shit. I love the romance and the beauty and and the flowers and the fairies and stuff. I love all that. That's one of the reasons I started doing this. But then the more I looked at it, I'm like, no, I have a responsibility. I have a responsibility as a tarot card reader, as somebody who is a cartomancer and an astromancer, to tell the truth. I have a responsibility to do that. So yes, this was a very intense reading, far more intense than I anticipated. But now, if anything from these forecasts turn out to be true, you can't say you didn't know. You can't say you didn't know. All right. Now, this has been part 2 of the Aquarius Rahu and Leo Ketu reading. It has been the tarot forecast. That was a lot more intense than I anticipated, but I hope you got something out of it anyway. I am Empress Justice, and I will see you for the 12 signs. Peace and blessings. Bye bye, my darlings.